Everyone's reviewed the agenda. And I'm going to ask if there's any declarations of conflict. I don't see any. Adoptions of the previous minutes. I need a mover. I'll second that. Any business arising from those minutes? No? Okay. Sixth order of business, public presentations. So are we going with Mr. Lydiard on that, or?
If you just give me 1 second, Paul is just jumping in and Mr. Lydiard is back, so I will let him in right now.
Okay. Is Mr. Lydiard a part of the public presentation? Okay. Here we are. Everyone's on. Hi, Vern. Sixth order of business, public presentations, and we'll move on to the seventh order of business, which is administrative reports. And we have 7.1, and I will ask the facility director to take over. Please, Karen.
Sure. So everyone here today, you're stuck listening to me for the next hour. I apologize. We've got a lot of work to kick off for the year. So normally we would have been kicking off with our facility document like last year. We had our community services items lined up, our plan of attack for the year. That's going to be ready for February, promptly after budget's passed. A lot of focus, again, asset management, recovering our municipality through the pandemic, our community improvement, attacking the TELUC facility reports, making sure we move forward with the economic development components of our strat plan, as well as continuing on our journey with the council vision boards. We made a lot of headway in 2021, pardon me. I'm very proud of. I know the committee's very proud of. Ashley is ecstatic. This is going to be a whirlwind of updates for our community this year. Some of the commitments, though, just a short list, a memorial bench table policy hybrid thing that's coming up later on in the agenda. Just that commitment that we are going to have that project guide again this year, and Louise is working diligently to ensure that it is accessible, so it's plugged in with our new system, and she's taking care of all of that formatting for us, which is wonderful. And then that we're going to continue to work through all of the COVID-19 challenges. Our department is unique, the service end of things too. Similarly, the town hall, a lot of face-to-face interactions with people, tourists, and the public, so making sure our staff are safe. Our student workers are empowered, and we keep moving forward with training and boosting that initiative to send people down to our local merchants and help their businesses recover this year. So it's basically an overview to kickstart the meeting, but I'll take any questions. It's pretty cut and dry, but open to any feedback.
Does anyone have any questions for Karen on the kickoff? All right, moving on to 7.2. I believe it's the memorial seating policy and the draft. Karen, if you please.
Sure. So this has been underway since roughly 2018. We had an appetite from a bunch of residents as well as council at the time to start coming up with ways for people to take pride in the municipality, help us improve our spaces, and sustainable investments. We did have some direct asks for tables and benches at the time, but understanding that a lot of our infrastructure was due to be repaired and some of it demolished before it was repaired, the integral thing to do was not to collect funds and install something that we knew we were going to be undertaking a large capital project, such as the river area and the marine park. So with those projects moving forward in 2022, we are going to be able to establish some lovely seating areas that promote rest and length of stay in our community. Hopefully people go downtown and spend more and spend the night when they're here. But again, we're really great at attracting people to our community, but there's not a lot of options for them to actually stay and sit down. So we will be able to overcome that gap, increase our length of stay, and enhance our community pride initiatives through a variety of seating and table options at our high traffic spaces. So what we've done is borrow a lot of this from the city of Sault Ste. Marie, because it's been an ongoing policy and procedure that the city has adopted for years and has worked out most of the kinks. So we have the most recent version with a Blind River twist to it that I've got presented for committee today. Now, since posting this, I have found some grammar errors and some commas that I do have to correct. But as far as the meat and potatoes and the backgrounder, I'm looking for some feedback before this goes to corporate services.
All right. I'm looking, I skipped myself down to the third portion of the draft. I'm looking at the draft. Would you want to touch upon that and how you want to roll that out, Karen, at all, you know, with this policy?
Thanks, Councillor Dunbar. What I'm seeking is to get something moving forward. Does the structure of the policy make sense to the committee? Does it sit well with all of you today? We're looking at a consistent look, a consistent style, being very upfront with the costs with people so they can fundraise if necessary, or add that into future planning, perhaps with cemetery services, basically having a package or a catalog of sorts for people who want to invest in this infrastructure.
All right, Jennifer, I see your hand up. Please go ahead.
Thanks, Chair. I just want to say I really like the amendments. I think it's very straightforward, the policy. It looks good. It looks clean to me. There isn't those kind of gray areas that there was in the previous policy that's been cleaned up. So it looks good to me. I like it.
Paula, do you have any comments?
No, I agree with Jen, and I think it looks really good. I did like the idea that it was cleaned up as well. It's very straightforward. No, it's good.
All right. Karen, go ahead,
Oh.
please.
So then through you, Councillor Dunbar, what I will do is correct some of the grammar errors that I found after the fact before it goes over to corporate services.
Okay.
Okay, great. So new policy. That's been a long time coming, this memorial benches or seating program. I recall back in festivals 7 years ago, they tried to kick off this year project, but we just couldn't seem to get it going, you know? So anyway, thanks for that, Karen. I'll see you move on to the 7.3 of the agenda, please.
Sure. So again, we have members of the municipality that are still living in Blind River, and we also have people where Blind River is their home in their heart, wanting to invest or donate towards enhancing our municipality. And I can feel it from the boots on the ground level, as can our staff, that there seems to be a change in culture where people are stepping up. I can say that there's a complete shift from approximately 3 or 4 years ago, where I don't know if people were frustrated at the state of our infrastructure, but now that they're seeing things look nicer and our merchants are investing in their spaces and we are successfully submitting grants, our service levels are increasing, our professional level is increasing. People now want to open their pocketbook and they want to donate to continue to beautify Blind River. So what this would do is allow donations to go into certain reserves. So they don't go into one pot. And why I'm hesitant to have just one pot is if there is an occurrence where we do have asset failure, which we always want to avoid, that money could automatically go there. But if somebody donated because their heart was dedicated to, say, playgrounds, that would really bug somebody if it went to fixing a roof. Does that make sense with the group? So what I'd like to do, with your permission, is organize it where our treasurer could create a series of accounts that would all allow people to get tax receipts for donating towards specific goals for those areas. So parks and playground could be for lovely seating, new toys for children, toys with accessibility components. The marina could be for anything related to the marine park as a whole. So the art gallery, museum, Huron Pines, of course, they have a healthy membership that's more than willing to donate. The tennis courts, even the outdoor rink. We know there's some challenges with that facility that we would like to help enhance it and extend the lifespan of the ice. So if we can get these people wanting to invest, and then when we have enough money, we can either leverage it through a grant, or we can say, hey, guess what, council, we've reached the magic number, let's move on this. So again, this is something we're seeking feedback on. It would be a donation, so people would get a tax receipt from the municipal office. But again, open to feedback and how this is sitting with everyone today.
What about people who'd like to stay in the background, Karen? You know, incognito per se. You know, I know there are people who donate and they don't wish their names to go out, be forwarded. So I'm just wondering where we are with that.
Sure. So depending on the appetite, I didn't want to get too far into this one, but similarly to the memorial program, there would actually be a form. So they would pick where they'd like their donation to go. And in the event, or when the project moves forward, if they would prefer to remain anonymous as a donor or would like their name. So if it were a very substantial thing, let's say we were building an outdoor rink because we didn't have one, we would have a donor wall. And the people that wanted to have their name associated with it could go onto that plaque, and then those that don't wish to be or have their information shared, of course, would be omitted.
Okay. Does anyone on the committee have any questions on that? Paula, go ahead.
Not a question so much as I think this is a great idea. I think you're right. You know, people may be more apt to donate when they know it's broken down. They can pick, you know, what they want to donate to. They might have something that they would prefer to. I think it's a really good idea, and it kind of gets that moving. Would be nice to see monies donated towards these things, right?
Yeah. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Thanks, Jim. I'm just wondering if as this progresses, if more envelopes could be added. So it has a good, healthy list of starter envelopes to donate to, and just if like something new arose, an initiative that someone wanted to put money behind for future, if we could like, is it a living document that can be added to?
Yes, thank you, Councillor Postrero. Absolutely. This was mainly a kickoff with the sites that tend to come to our table most frequently, or some very relevant tasks that are on there right now that we know we have to grapple or tackle, pardon me. But absolutely, this is a living document, and our goal eventually is to take things off the list as well as we achieve them. So we're going to work towards that goal.
All right. I see here, Karen, there's a recommendation that you have. And you would need you need a mover and a seconder on this to bring this forward. So moved by Councillor Postrero and seconded by Councillor Summers, that the Community Service Committee accepts the following report, and that the Community Services Committee directs administration to, I believe you have it blank here, to move forward on it then? To move forward?
Yeah, to commence next steps in producing a policy and procedure surrounding donations.
All right.
I know
Okay,
Kim could draft something very wonderful.
all in favor? Okay, that's carried. 7.4, Karen. I guess the 2022 year of the garden.
Yeah, So this is an exciting one for me, anybody who's driven by my front yard. It was nice to hear from Sandy Lendrum in the new year, though. Ms. Lendrum did reach out that the Horticultural Society is very keen on hitting the ground running with promoting the Year of the Garden. So what Ms. Lendrum is seeking is a proclamation at council, so then they can begin pumping this up before Father's Day. So the Saturday before Father's Day is going to be the day of celebration. And that we're closing the loop with the Horticultural Society as well. So I know Ms. Lendrum will be completely understanding that we don't want to take your shrubs and beautiful trees from you today in February, because we are about to excavate certain areas. But once these are done, can you please help us? Because we may lose some trees. Can you help us by replacing them with beefier 10-year saplings instead of the 2-year ones? Can the Horticultural Society partner with us with planting new ones to replace those that we know are about to die? Things like that. So we're always replenishing our greenery. We're also especially keen on pointing out areas with the Horticultural Society where we can help stabilize our shoreline, because it will be an ongoing issue with climate change and water levels. So having that in person when it is safe to do so with a few members of the Hort Society, I know would go a long way. It would also allow them to budget and fundraise and let their membership know what their dues are going toward. So today I'm seeking the proclamation approval, so that can head over to council. And then the permission basically to liaise with Ms. Lendrum so we can come up with some project ideas, and then I can break down what the Hort Society can expect out of the community in 2022, out of our infrastructure development projects, and then why the need to hang tight for now, so they don't feel like they're pushed off.
Questions? Yes, Jennifer.
Thanks, Chair. I know I sound like a broken record. Is if we're doing the proclamation for the Year of the Garden, I know we've discussed it at length previously multiple times. I would still really love to see a community garden. I know it's failed in the past, but as you say that there is a pivot for people stepping up. And I think that now with COVID, people are seeing that there's even a greater need. If we could somehow, and of course, like keeping with our service delivery review, I would hope that although we have if we could find an area for it, if people would step up to volunteer to ensure that it is sustained and not just planted and abandoned. I really think there is a need in the community for a community garden for fruits and veggies. Flowers and trees are beautiful, but fresh, sustainable produce would be awesome for people that can't always get it.
Paula, any comments?
No, that's a good idea, Jen. But no, I like this idea. I did see that Sandy had posted some stuff on Facebook about this already. So I was kind of expecting to see it come forward. So no, that's good.
I guess my question would be, Karen, if we were going to address this community garden, how could we, or how would we roll that out? Is there an opportunity for this year to investigate a little further on that? I guess actually, Councillor Postrero, I guess we would need commitment from individuals, to sustain a garden. I mean, I know myself, I hate weeding. But it has to be done. There has to be a loyal commitment from a group who would, want to follow up on that. But I think maybe touching bases with the Horticultural Society and maybe thinking about it anyway, to see if we have an interest in it or not. Because I don't think, I'm sure there's areas that we could utilize for this, but I I think we need a commitment from individuals pertaining to this here. And I would like to see also, I guess I would like to see if there was an interest in it, that it would come into fruition per se. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Thanks, Jim. And I know we've discussed all the things that made it fail previously, but I would, I know we can't afford it, but I would love to get our hands on that AdSab property beside Quickway, because there's so many families that would benefit from having a community garden, and it would give them something to do, and it would beautify the space as well as maintaining a green space there. That would be, in my eyes, I see that space as a perfect location. But
I also see it, the youth, today's youth, getting their hands into the dirt and getting them dirty instead of playing on these phones all the time. It may be a good thing for them. Okay, moving on. So there's a recommendation here. I'm going to need a mover and a seconder. And it's moved by Paula and Councillor Summers, and seconded by Councillor Pastorero, that the Community Service Committee recommend to Council that the 2022 year of the Garden Proclamation be shared, and that the following capital project completion, the Blind River Horticultural Society, be provided with areas of opportunity in which to donate or plant. All in favor of this? Okay, and I see that's carried. All right. Correspondence. Unless there's someone out, any further questions? No? Okay. Moving on to 8.1, correspondence. 8.1, mobilize for Earth Day 2022. Is that just for information?
Through you, Councillor Dunbar, Mayor Hagman reached out basically to have put this in front of committee for consideration. And we'd like to basically gauge the appetite from the group. Seems like a no-brainer way to get involved and get people start thinking about taking care of Mother Earth, especially with all of our projects that we are focusing on the environment with our trails restoration. So I guess with permission or with recommendation, we could move forward on coming up with low to no cost initiatives and allow mayor and council to get involved, promote on Facebook as well as Instagram so the community gets involved, and hopefully our schools as well.
Okay, so I do not see any, there's no recommendation there though, right? To pass? Scrolling through here. Go ahead, Councillor Pastorero.
thanks, Jim. I'm just seeing that it's talking about the initiative to plant 50 trees, like you have to pledge to plant at least 50 trees. I'm just like past initiatives where we got a whole bunch of trees and then we're kind of like, where do we put them? So I'm just wondering. So if the appetite is to proceed with the tree planting, would there be areas that are pre-designated that we'd want to plant this? Like you were talking about areas that have been excavated that might need a little beautification, maybe instead of a tree, like shrubs or flowering shrubs, could be a tree.
What I would suggest for this year, Councillor Pastorero, is if we could secure 50 saplings, similarly to what Timber Village did with the white pines that were generally donated from Mississauga First Nation, is we could actually encourage people to take them home and plant them on their own property for anybody interested. And then it's kind of a hands-off. It's something that families could be doing. Parents or caregivers could educate their children on best time to plant a tree 10 years ago. So that kind of activity. So it's not always on a municipal property. And then once our big projects are done, of course, that's when the Hort Society will come back into play. Or perhaps this initiative in 2023 could help us restore some of our areas that need new trees.
All right.
But food for thought, I'm open to anything.
Okay, moving on. Yes, Paula, did you have a question? Or a
I was
comment?
just gonna say, did we want to maybe send this to council and let we could have a discussion there to, as far as what we wanted to do there. I don't know. I know the mayor was interested in something like this, so I don't know if we want to discuss it at council or not. What do you think, Jen?
Go ahead, Councillor Pastorero.
Oh, I don't know if she said Jim or Jen. I would say, like, just looking at what we're going to do for Earth Day, what kind of initiatives, if this is one, or if there's other initiatives that people have in mind, like even putting Earth Day initiatives on the agenda would be okay.
Okay, so the consensus then is that we're just going to hold. Okay, go ahead, Karen.
Could I make a suggestion that staff be directed to bring to the February meeting breakdown of ideas for Earth Day, since we do have some time and a few meetings in between, and then we could have a comprehensive list to send to council.
Good idea.
Okay.
Moving on to the 9th order of business, the addendum 9.1. Director of Facilities on the ice fishing derby. Go ahead, please.
Okay, so we all love a challenge. I'm really excited about this. It's amazing that it is a month long. So the municipality has registered, and if anybody is interested in taking part, it's only a $20 registration fee for the derby. You catch your fish, and there's different areas that you can win. And what's super cool with this is there's over $13,000 in prizes that any angler is competing towards. So the big prize package. And then it's up to every community to create their own subcategory of packages, which the local anglers can win. So an Elliott Lake registration can't snag the Blind River prizes. No pun intended. Blind River people can't go and steal the Sault Ste. Marie stuff. So what it does is allow all of the communities to really boost morale, especially throughout the pandemic, and create fun little things to get local people participating, especially in this dreary time of year. And then Mayor Marchesella has taken it up a notch and decided to challenge us at the January 25th council meeting, friendly competition between Elliott Lake and Blind River. Not too concerned, because if they fish the way they play baseball, we've got this in the bag. They haven't won a game yet. We're good. So that said, Louisa has done a wonderful job. I'm sure Katie's forwarded it, or it's in email transit right now, trying to get to your inboxes. There's graphics packages. There's a blurb that you're welcome to share with your neighbors and friends. It's going to be all over social media. And in the next few days, we are going to have an updated press release that talks about all of the great things that Blind River has prepared for the fishing derby. As Elliott Lake sent out a press release at the beginning of last week. We're going to let the convoy go through town because people are very fixated on that for now. And what will happen is if we post our media release too soon, it'll get swallowed and people will be distracted. So then looping back, we're gonna have a press release ready to go. Council is going to have all of the graphics, the spiel for social media. We're going to be doing an aggressive push throughout all of February to get people pumped up for this. And I am proud to report that in one day, we have reached out and we have over 20 local merchants and local services donating prizes. So our youth prize package alone, we're creating 3, a first, second, and third, which anyone can win. And then a junior angler prize, which you have to be 18 or under. So we can try and get our kids involved too. As we know, we do have some serious adult fisher people in the area. The kids prize right now has over $225 worth of goods in it. Brand new fishing rod, reel, there are lures, hoodies, you name it. People are excited. Brand name items from the Blind River shop, Yeti, name brand fishing rods. Like no one is cheaping out right now. I think from having 2 years of very dreary winters and ongoing lockdowns, people are doing whatever they can to try and rebuild a sense of community pride. So this is amazing to see. We're anticipating that our first prize package is going to be over $400 in goods when we're finished. So Blind River is going to be in the prize caliber of Terrace Bay and Chapleau. Just to put it in perspective with all of the Ontario communities that are participating, we're in that realm. So this is an awesome thing, but it will not be a success if we're all not working together to promote it. So I need council's help. I need committee's help. I need everybody in the community sharing the word. I know not everybody has social media, so it's also going through our newsletter. That's also why we're using Elliott Lake today. We are going to push, but please share the news with your friends, your partners at home, your kids, and get them to register under Blind River so we can really boost our numbers. And at the end of the day, beat Elliott Lake, because that's what it's all about.
Questions? I see Councillor Pastorero. Go ahead, please.
Thanks, Chair. My only concern, I love it. It's great. It's fantastic. Is much like online learning, there is the equity lens that we need to look through, because you have to have the app in order to upload the picture. You can't take a photo and then upload it later. It must be through like a smart device to upload it onto that MyCatch app. So I'm just looking through the equity lens. Do you think there's like maybe like a little event that if we're going to promote it so hard that, like, you know, we could have some people out there volunteering with like an iPad or something, so like people that don't have a smart device might be able to participate? And like, I know we have to maintain social distancing and all that lovely stuff, but I'm just wondering, just for equity purposes, so as many people can be included as possible, is how can we get over that obstacle that not all people are going to have a smart device where they can get on that app? And so, like, you know, I'm thinking of families that might not be able to do that. So
Good question.
Yeah, for sure. So great question. This is an opportunity where we should be looking towards our service clubs, our library, even our schools, to see what kind of devices are available. As a counselor, perhaps if you're not participating, you could put the app on your phone and assist somebody, because it's not going to impede any of your other things. And if you're there to help scan, there's ways around it. Unfortunately, it's not a perfect system, but it's something. Much like other events, there's generally a cost at the gate. We know, unfortunately, not everybody always can participate. We know not everybody can pay an entry fee. We know not everybody even has the funds to be able to participate all of the time. But this is a way to try and get people to distance. This would be a really great brainstorm for everybody on committee today to figure out, how could I help somebody overcome the challenge? Chamber of Commerce, how could we help somebody overcome the challenge? Every member of council, every committee that we're on, how can we help overcome this challenge? Because it's not a new challenge.
exactly. I'm just wondering about that app, like, because it talks about the privacy about your IP and how that wouldn't be shared and all that stuff. But I'm just wondering if the device that you're on, if you're only allowed to have one registrant per IP address. I'm just wondering how that would be feasible to go out there and, you know, and plus you have to pay $20 per applicant. So I think it's a great initiative. I just, you know, always want to be looking at the equity lens.
I don't think it's going to be for everyone either, Councillor Pastorero. I mean, I can see it growing to a point, but you know, not everyone is going to be involved, as for the reasons you've just mentioned, time, money, and technology. But anyway, other than that, like, I'm heading out to Bay Lake tomorrow. Can I guess it's just not till till February the 1st that, okay. I'll make sure to tell the fellas I'm going with to get involved.
Remember, Councillor Dunbar, it's lac secret, not.
Right. Councillor Pastorero, I saw your hand up.
Yeah, I also thought it was funny that they were talking about like the IP and the geo coordinates, right? That they would keep your secrets safe, right? That they wouldn't divulge your spots where you're fishing. So
Bay Lake's no secret. I mean, it might be the spot, yeah, where you're going to catch them, but it's a well-known lake. All right. Moving on, if there anyone else have anything else to discuss on this? All right. That brings us to our 10th order of business, which is the adjournment, and I'll need a mover and a seconder. And it's moved by Councillor Pastorero and seconded by Councillor Summers. Be it resolved that the Community Services Committee meeting adjourned at 4:06 p.m. Thank you, everyone.